troubleshoot this whole thing all over again.
Oh, now, finally, I think we've got some sound going on here.
So that was the problem. We noticed, Charles noticed that we didn't have any sound. So whatever I said, I'm going to have to say it all over again. But you know what? That's okay because it's going to be a good day as far as I'm concerned. The sun will go down. That's always a promise. And then the other promise is that it will come back up again. Might be under the clouds, but, or, yeah, the clouds might be under it, but we'll still have sun every day.
Every day we have sun.
Every day we'll have sun.
And
That's
if we don't have sun,
yeah,
that means the Lord Jesus Christ has already come back and everything is flipped over, and or it's the end of the world as we know it. One of those things. But that is Gunny Jesse Almanza. Since they don't know who we are and why we're doing this, because our sound was our sound was off, and I guess we can go ahead and blame the tech guy because I'm pretty much I'm pretty much the tech guy, and getting these things. There we go. Well, at least the names have showed up.
Okay, well there you go.
That shows us who we are, and what this is all about. And Jesse, would you like to tell them, since it's been a while, what the military veteran family streaming thing is all about?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna, because we've been doing this for a while now. I think we're on 7 sessions, maybe 8 sessions or whatever. I just wanted to go back and Charles and I had a discussion about maybe we should kind of reintroduce the channel a little bit so people will know what we're doing here and what's happening and what's going on with the military veteran family YouTube channel here. So yeah, I'm gonna read it here because it's a very long description, but I also want you to understand it as well too because you're gonna be playing, if you haven't already, a big part of this. So it's an honor of everybody who have served. We'll be sharing stories, stories to some extent to where we know for a fact that we joined the military for our nation, and we want to make sure that that strength continues. This channel is dedicated to fostering meaningful dialogue among those who have served our nations, their families, their supporters. It's a place to share and understand the realities of military life, the sacrifices, and the unwavering dedication to service that all of us have done. Not only us as veterans or service members or whatever, but families as well too, because they too have done sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then behind every service member, of course, stands a family who has also answered to call, supporting deployments, enduring separations, and in many cases bearing the heartbreak of a lost one. And that's always the heartbreak there. Your strength and your patriotisms are the essential part of our nation's story. And we want to tell stories. We want to say stories. We want to make sure that people understand that. And theoretically speaking, is that the reason we want to do this is because we believe that there's a lot of family members that don't know about stories of things, places that we've gone, things that we've done, things that have inspired us, what we learned along the way, and how we bring that back to the family in general and stuff. Because, contrary to what people may think, we've learned a lot and we've passed on a lot, not only to our children.
You want me to do this next part for you?
Sure, go ahead.
It says, through this platform, we will share the voices and stories of millions of veterans, as well as those of family members, friends, patriots who have stood beside them. These conversations are intended to honor the past, inform the present, and inspire the future. We will also provide valuable resources and information for veterans and their families, helping them navigate benefits, community programs, opportunities for continued growth, connection, and a good quality of life.
Right. That's a big mouthful there, and that description there is actually on our YouTube channel program or about us or whatever. So you can go back and do that and review it again. We want to reiterate what our purpose is and what we're doing here, what we're about. And as far as resources, providing resources, understand and know that we are not the Veterans Administration.
Nope.
We have no affiliation with them. This is us. This is two guys here.
Right. The affiliation that we have is they work for us.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. So because of this, because of all of this, we know and we understand that there's a lot of us out there. Approximately 15.8 to 18.6 million veterans are living in the United States today, and about 1.7 million of them, Charles, are women.
Wow.
We have a lot of women veterans out
Mm-hmm.
there right now and stuff. And each story is worth hearing and honoring, of course. And this channel is your voice. If you want to chime in to the chat, we're more than welcome to, while we're live, to respond back to you as soon as possible. If not, if you happen to be on later on and you put something on there, we will try to get back to you as much as possible. But it's your participation and it ensures that your legacy continues and stuff
Yep.
throughout this. So we have a special, kind of like a special uh, introduction of a source or some things that I myself didn't know of until I started digging into it a little bit more. And you know, the commanders of the armed forces. I mean, generals, admirals, equivalent to generals. Are they Navy generals?
Yeah, I guess they're pretty much Navy generals.
Yeah, Navy
Um,
generals. When you hear the term generals, you always tie it into stars. And
mhm.
generals have stars and stuff. But did you know that each and every one of us, including family members and relatives and friends, and well, maybe not relatives and friends, but immediate family members also can bear stars or have stars or are stars. So that's what we want to talk about, stars today. We just recently had our Memorial Day event here, and like I mentioned before, Memorial Day is an everyday, especially those who lost a loved one. But Memorial Day provides a star for those individuals who have lost someone, and this star is for the immediate family of a U.S. Should I say the Gold Star is for a Gold Star family member that provides the immediate family members of the U.S. military who died in line of duty. So if someone died in the line of duty, your husband, your brother, mother, father, aunt, uncle, sister, uh, and you're the family of those individuals, you are a Gold Star family.
Yep.
And you're awarded a Gold Star. You're given a pin and so on, and you become a member of the Gold Star
Yep.
family in general and stuff.
Yep.
So
We Memorial Day we met the Wyatt family.
yeah.
Um,
Memorial Day, we met the Wyatt family, and they talked about their son,
their
how they
son.
lost their
Yep.
son in combat. The brave hero who actually, and we don't talk a lot about this, and I know it happens a lot. And the more stories you read about those who have lost their lives in combat, they're always saving someone. They're always there, unselfishly protecting other individuals
Mhm.
that are there because if you blink your eyes right now, that becomes a split second. And when you have a split second to make a decision on things, it's really fast.
Yep.
You really have to think about what's going to be going on. And unfortunately, that split second decision ended up costing a life. And in this case of Corporal Matthew Wyatt is his name, and we won't forget that. He lost his life. And in the process of that, along with another fellow Marine that lost his life, we heard the story on Memorial Day. In the process, another Marine also lost his life. But what happened was that if they have not have blinked their eyes and made a split second decision, multiple other service members would have died as well too. When you're trying to stop an individual driving a vehicle with a 600-pound bomb there,
Yep.
that's a decision that you have to make. That in no way, shape, or form are you going to be able to think twice. It's going to happen. So, as a result of that, they ended up obviously losing their lives, and the family becomes a Gold Star family. And unfortunately, that's things that happen along the way and stuff. In the Gold Star family arena, though, there's another Gold Star family, but this is a little different. You also are awarded uh, a Gold Star, but it's considered what they call next of kin.
Hmm.
Now, these families did not, Charles, did not lose their loved ones in the battlegrounds or in battle or whatever. They actually lost someone while they were serving in the military.
Okay.
They were
While on
active
active
duty
duty.
militaries, right? So on active duty, so they are also Gold Star, considered Gold Star families. There is, but the little differential thing about that is that it's what they call or consider the next of kin.
Hmm.
They did not die in the battleground. They didn't do any of that, but they were there and stuff. So, and for those Gold Star families, there are a couple of time frames that they are actually honored. And Gold Star Spouse Day. So if you have a spouse that was killed in action, basically, or you have a spouse that's a Gold Star, and you're a Gold Star family, on April the 5th, it's an observation day for those individuals for that.
Right. Gold Star Spouses Day,
Gold Star.
April 5th.
Yeah. And what about the other family, Charles?
Gold Star Mothers and Families Day is the last Sunday of September.
Yeah. These days come around and they come and they go, and a lot of people don't really think about that, except the individuals who pertains to that, the individuals who are actually they're the Gold Star members themselves and
Right.
stuff. So that's a Gold Star. That's a Gold Star category. That's one of the identities of the military group. It's a Gold Star, next of kin, and a Gold Star itself.
Now, the neat one that guarantee most people don't know about. I mean, I've heard it mentioned on the news a couple times, but it's not something that's relatively, and it's relative, is Blue Star families.
Hmm.
Blue Star families are those who have active duty members. So if you have somebody who's currently serving,
Oh, wow.
you mothers and families have, members who are serving.
You're a Blue Star
Star
family.
family.
Yeah, Blue Star mothers and families who have children or family members who are currently serving in the military, as Charles says.
Yep, Guard or Reserve also.
Guard and Reserve. Yeah,
Yep.
National Guard and Reserve. And veterans.
Veterans are also,
In
right.
fact,
so if you have
your mom's a Gold Star or a Blue Star.
Blue Star, yeah.
A Blue Star, and your dad's a Blue Star.
3 times
If you're a
over.
veteran.
She would have if they do make banners for it. So her husband served. Her son, which is me, served.
Okay.
And her daughter served. So she would have 3 stars.
3 stars on
it.
Well, the way it works out is that a banner, you can get a banner, you can purchase a banner, and then that banner is there's little significant characteristics to it, to where you can have a blue star either embroidered or painted or whatever on it. If you have one family member that's a veteran or of active duty, but if you have 3 family members that are active duty, you can have 3 stars on that banner.
Now, I have a thing here that I looked up.
Okay.
Because I was wondering about it.
You.
So Blue Star, a service member, you have somebody who's in service. Now, Blue Star with a gold Greek cross in the center means that they were wounded in service. So there's other things that's added to that. So you have a Blue Star with a gold ring superimposed, is decorated for distinguished service. An inverted Blue Star with both the gold Greek cross and the gold ring is missing in action.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Instead of just the MIA flag that we normally see, you could actually see if they wanted to hang that banner in a window or something on their house. So that they are actually have it. An inverted Blue Star inside of a red ring means that they're captured.
Okay.
And a lot of this stuff, of course, came from originated in World War I time frame. An inverted Blue Star superimposed over a red pentagon, wounded and decorated for distinguished service. Gold Star bordered blue with a gold ring superimposed on it, decorated for distinguished service. Also seems to indicate the serviceman died, but that's not stated. Blue Star superimposed over a red pentagon with a gold Greek cross in the center and gold ring superimposed on it, wounded, decorated for distinguished service, and missing. And a Gold Star bordered blue with a laurel wreath superimposed on it, died in service. And the laurel wreath is optional, but that goes to your Gold Star
What if
families.
somebody wanted to know more about, you're talking about a lot of detail on specific type of,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, qualifying
Well,
factors for specific individuals.
and then with the fact that we just have so far touched Gold Star and Blue Star
Oh
families,
yeah.
and there's a list of them.
Okay.
And I found it's valorinstitute.org, and the V stands for veterans, A stands for active duty, the LO stands for loved ones, extended family, friends who are like family, and the R is for the reserve component or retirees. So everybody's covered in that. But it's the valorinstitute.org, and they actually have a pamphlet that tells you I think it's All Star Military Families is what that pamphlet's called, and it breaks down every one of what we're going to break down part of.
Yeah, yeah.
the those stars and what the stars mean. So we've hit the Gold Star, which is one of the most important ones,
Right.
because that's the lost a loved one, and now we've hit Blue Star, which basically affects everybody. And then
Everybody,
we
yeah,
have a Mike who
popped in.
popped in to visit us, and he's hiding over in the side, so
He's,
he didn't have to. Yeah, he was in front of the camera a couple weeks ago.
yeah. According to the Department of Defense, the regulations for anyone who is actually eligible to be, Blue Star, or is really broad because it's a lot. It's
Yep.
immediate family members are permitted to display Blue Star planners, which includes spouses, parents, step parents, children, stepchildren, siblings, half siblings, and step siblings, adoptive parents and adopted children and siblings. So if I have, and I'll give you an example of my brothers, my sisters, they can all display a blue star signifying that I am a member, or they have a brother or a relative or a brother or a sister or someone in the military. Well, that is serving. And not only currently serving, if you have a brother or a sister or an aunt or an uncle currently serving, you're a blue star family, and you can display the blue star. And Charles gave us uh, the website where you can go and get more information about this. Now, all of this, I've been in and out of a lot of meetings and organizations and talking to a lot of veterans and stuff. And I've had 23 years in the military, and I'm just starting to learn about all of these things that a lot of family members out there do not know. Imagine having your son or your daughter currently in active duty, and all you know that is he's on active duty or she's on active duty. Now, and you hang a flag outside. You hang a flag because you're a patriot, and you have an American flag out there and stuff. Uh, but I can imagine right now that if my mom and my dad knew about the Blue Star banner that they could actually display out, I imagine that they probably have one out there in their front yard somewhere. To signify that a son or a daughter or a mom, dad, father, or whomever is currently serving, and they earn that blue star. Blue star, they earn it. It's your star.
Right.
Yeah. Not only generals have stars, you have a star too. Everybody gets a star. Everybody has a star. So if you I believe for every banner that you have, I think you can have up to 5 stars in them. So you just have
I
to
believe so.
kind of read into it a little bit more, because
Yep.
it's important that you understand regulations and what you're displaying. You don't want to end up displaying a bad star out there. And this is something that I'm going to talk about that doesn't have to deal with stars, but it has to deal with the American flag. Yeah, I'll tell you a story because this is what it's about. We want to tell stories and stuff, right, Charles? I was driving down the street one day and I saw this American flag inverted, upside down. It was turned upside down. In other words, the blue part of the flag that should have been up on top was down, and it was flying. And I pulled into the driveway and I stepped into the individuals that were out there in the garage, that were working in the garage, and I asked them. I said, is everything okay?" Because Charles, what's the significance? What does it mean when somebody has an inverted?
That means that you're under duress.
Yeah, that you're under
So,
duress. If
so
something's going on,
something bad is happening.
yeah, you're wanting to send a message or something. So being a military service member and understanding the meaning of a flag that's upside down. And this is not the only time. This has happened to me several times actually, where I pulled it even into a bank, had to start from the flag flying all the way up upside down, and I walked in and said, "Everything okay?" Maybe I shouldn't have done that at the bank, huh?
No. You,
But you know what? You work on instinct. Blink of the eye and stuff.
yeah.
You make that decision and you do it. But anyway, I'm just basically saying that identifying protocol or etiquette is very important. And then when we're talking about these stars in regarding to families and stuff, we want to make sure that we're online. So it's always good, even though we're giving you some information about this, it's always good for you to do your research.
hmm
Do Google Blue Star. What does the Blue Star mean? Do I qualify? Am I a part of that? And then if it's something that's significant to you and you would like to have that, and Charles is getting the call from
Sorry about
Charles.
that.
He didn't put his thing on
I didn't
mute.
put it on mute like I normally do.
Yeah,
Normally, I have my phone on mute. And
$20 in the jar, Charles.
That's okay.
$20.
Put $20 in the jar.
Okay, you already
Okay.
did. You already did. Okay, well, we could. But anyway,
Well, my question is, so were these guys okay?
well, yeah, they were actually. They didn't really realize. Number one, they didn't realize that they had their flag turned upside down, and it's very easy to do, I guess, if you're just putting it up there. But they understood that what it meant once we had a conversation about it. And I wanted to make sure. And these were elderly folks. I'm just saying that maybe they just weren't watching or paying attention, or something happened when they put the flag up, and it just happened to be upside down. And I, being in the state of mind that I'm in, I'm like, I'm going to go find out what's going on here.
Yeah.
And luckily for them, for all of us, there was nothing happening. But now they understand, and a lot of people don't understand. And if you happen to see a flag like that, it mean that maybe something's going on in that household, or maybe they're sending a signal up, or back in the days, cowboy and Indian days, they used to send up smoke signals, right?
Yeah. And
Well,
so if
that was,
if you want people to know that your base is under attack,
yeah,
or your base has been breached, that's what they use in the military. You raise that flag upside down.
yeah.
I mean, and if you ever want to see a group of people panic, I was doing a flag ceremony as we were raising the flag, and we got that bad boy about halfway up, and everybody realized
Stop.
that it was upside down. And then you're trying to run that thing back down the pole as fast as you
There's
can.
etiquette for that as well too. But either way, you've got to do some research. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's us or anybody else giving you information. It's always behoove us to do our due diligence anyway. So we make sure that we have the right information and stuff. And I've been looking at some of these podcasts and YouTube channels and all that. I watch quite a bit of them, and there's something going on with those that are still in the air of things that happened 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. If you're watching those podcasts, probably what they've talked about 3 years ago no longer exists.
Yep.
So you got to make sure that you are in tune with things. So, and the reason I say that is because you don't want to be looking at something right now and thinking that it's actually happening today when it happened 5 years ago. And usually YouTube channels or Facebook channels and all that, podcasts and all that, they usually have a date when all of this happened and stuff. But again, do your due diligence. Look at what these stars have to offer you, and what category of star you fit into. And it's always good to know, because it's a good representation that, number one, you're a true patriot. You support your family. You support your loved one that's serving currently, or has actually not served anymore, and now a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
There's another star right there, Charles. What's the other star?
Silver Star. Silver Star families are those who have family members who wounded, ill, and or injured veteran from any branch of the armed forces.
Okay, so it's a veteran
Right.
that was wounded, ill, or injured,
Yep.
and that covers any branch.
That
So
covers any branch.
if you have a rating right now, you have a whether it's visible or not visible, wounded or not wounded.
Yeah. Well, ill would cover that because
Ill
there's
would cover that.
and that's like PTSD. There's scars on the inside that
Right.
that
Those are big scars
that
out there.
we're trying to get everybody to talk about those scars on the inside.
Right.
Mine is I have visible wounds, but I have the ones that are on the inside that most people can't see. Like I said, I guess my wife could hang the Silver Star at our house with being a disabled veteran, being a bilateral amputee.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, this was created by a nonprofit. The Silver Star was created by a nonprofit. What's the name of that, Charles?
Silver Star Families of America.
Yeah, it just admits just right on the money. Silver Star Families of America. It's a banner that's flown by immediate family members. The United States has officially observed the Silver Star service banner on the very first day of May. We talked about that when we had May events happening.
Yep.
We were observing Military Veteran Day and stuff, basically. So the Silver Star is a star that's kind of brought up and taken care of on that particular day right there. I mean, that's when you I think celebrate it the most. But either way, Silver Star is here to stay. If you are if you meet that criteria for having a Silver Star, then you're a Silver Star.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. And it's got symbols. It's got certain things. One of the key things, or a couple of the key things to remember about the symbols and the design of this, is that the Silver Star represents the veterans' gallantry, the courage, and the physical or invisible wounds that they have encountered or they carry with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to visible, and invisible. So you can see it that they're ill, but you can see it that they're not ill because they may carry some other type of category. And Charles mentioned PTSD would be a big example of it and stuff. So that's one of the characteristics when it symbolizes that, and it also the blue field around the star itself, it symbolizes hope. So the banner, it's also a banner that you can hang, Silver Star banner, and I'm describing the banner here. So again, go back and Google the Silver Star for veterans or whatever, and it'll give you all the requirements, everything that you need. The border itself, for example, it represents or stands for the bloodshed and valor displayed in combat. So there's meanings behind everything for everything that the military puts out there. There's every symbol. Charles, you read some symbols earlier about the other stars that we were discussing.
Right. When we're talking about the blue stars, because there's, while that person's active, there are things that are going on and as an active duty person. But, so that Silver Star, also has a red border around it, which is the bloodshed.
Representation of the bloodshed. Yeah, that's something to kind of look at. Now, you may not consider it right now. You may not think anything of it and stuff, but there's a lot of organizations out there that cater to or that really not. I'm not going to say celebrate, but have information about this, and they honor that and they respect that. And very many veterans or even veteran families or even families that are in the military know of these type of extra other honors that go along with serving in the military, because I mean it's an honor to know that you can actually display a trophy or something or a banner of your loved one, either way you look at it and stuff. I mean, and you always want to keep all service members, whether they passed or they're currently serving or they served for a period of time and now they're out, because they served this great nation. They serve our country, and you always want to keep in mind. And there's always things that you can learn, like we're learning.
Right.
We're learning technology right now, Charles. That stuff is kicking.
It's more fighting with technology than learning it.
One of the other stars that I mean, in my opinion, it's a star that is meant for a reason, and the reason behind it basically it's a white or a green star, white or green star, and that represents a lost one, one who maybe took their lives into by suicide and stuff, which is never a good thing to have. They do have white star families and blue star or green star families that represent those. And you know, I have a very serious thing about, or I feel bad about those individuals who end up taking that route and saying, I'm done, it's over with and stuff, because sometimes you yourself as an individual, you don't have any control on it and stuff, but you don't know what's going on through people's minds. And part of our channel here is to get people to talk, to get people to tell your stories, to talk to each other, to kind of identify things and stuff. And like we mentioned earlier, is that we can provide resources if you reach out to us or let us know, hey, I have a friend or a brother, aunt, mother, sister that's going through this. What do you recommend? And we're not the gurus of all of this stuff, but we can give you a route. We can give you a direction. We can give you a resource. Even up to the VA, we can send you up in that direction as well too. But you notice that I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it's always said that the 22, that many people always hear of that statistics, 22 veterans a day. Uh, that was brought up back in 2012. The VA did a runoff and tried to identify how many veterans actually took their lives on a daily basis, and they came up with that number 22. Realistically speaking, since that time frame up until now, that data has changed a little bit, and it doesn't reflect the 22 like it did before. Although one is a big number,
Yes,
the
one
22
is
is
too
even
many.
worse. Yeah, one is too many, but 22 is definitely worse. But currently, it's been identified through current statistics and data is that 6,398 individual veterans commit suicide per year, and it's not nothing that it's nothing that we really want to discuss or talk about. But you know what? This is a real thing that happens, and people need to know about real things.
Yep.
We need to be able to understand. We also have to have information readily available.
Right.
Maybe we can discuss a little bit about
And so
how.
YouTube, don't censor us, because this is critical information. This is educational information. This is information that is personal to military members and maybe non-military members, their families who have either suffered this loss or have somebody who is in that state of mind. So it's not something that we're flippantly throwing out, that somebody has taken their life. I know there are protocols and other things that YouTube uses and says, hey, you can't say this, you can't. But that is, we're not using it as, oh, we're making fun of it. We're trying to get this information out there, because there are veterans who are hurting, like we talked about with the fact that not all the wounds and that you have are external that you can see.
Right.
These are internal scars.
Right.
And
Right.
and if you don't discuss these internal scars, there are times when it overwhelms you, and we're trying to eliminate the overwhelming and help get some help.
Right. You can always reach out to the Veterans Administration if you want some information. There's a phone number always available, 24/7. It's a text. All you need to do is dial 988, right?
Mm-hmm.
988, and right after that, press
Press
the
one.
one,
Yep.
and you'll be talking to somebody. There's a bigger number. It's a text number. It's 838-255. And if you're watching this and you're listening to us talk about that, and you want the immediate service, I would say call the Veterans Crisis Hotline.
Yep.
And chat with, or go to the website and chat with somebody there and stuff, or figure out a way where you can expedite whatever your cause or your need is and stuff, because there's nothing good about it. And you need to know that you're not doing it because you're bothering people, or you want to get into somebody's business and stuff. I mean, you really want to help somebody out. we want to share that information because
Yeah.
it's about that. I mean, we personally have lost individuals like that, and it's not ever a good thing and stuff. But knowing categories of stars, knowing what stars represent, and we know now that not only generals have stars, we all have stars in some way, shape, or form and stuff. Whether or not the star is a star of a benefit to you or a beneficial, or it's a memorable star that you'll always remember forever and ever. Irregardless, know and understand that there's significant factors behind each and every one of them.
Well, that's one of the neat things about that
Right.
Valor Institute. It actually gives you a breakdown of the stars and some of the needs that these people, Gold Star, Silver Star, Blue
Right.
Star, there's even a Sage Star, there's a Bronze, there's several that we didn't go through, but it gives you each one and what it represents and what the needs that some of these people might have. And if you see, you see that coming up to somebody's door and oh, wait a second,
That's a good
this
thought.
person's a blue star or silver star or even worse yet, a gold star or a white star,
Yeah,
where they've lost somebody.
it strikes a
Yep.
conversation. Charles said somebody walks up to the door and you see a blue banner there with a blue star, or a banner with a blue star, and the person that does not know what that signifies, well, maybe will ask, what does that mean? And you go,
Yep.
oh, my son is serving in Iraq right now, or my son is in Afghanistan, or my son is out in the middle of the Persian Gulf, or my daughter has done this, or my dad, or my uncle, somebody. So you're actually acknowledging that you have a service member that's there, not only protecting us, because that's what we do when we serve, is we protect our country, and that's the purpose of us being there.
Hmm.
But it's also a big satisfying understanding that we have to support, because people will acknowledge that. And people, if you don't tell them, they don't know. And, if you don't say something, they don't know. But if you display something, then the reason behind that, the meaning behind that, that goes a long way. That goes a long, long, long way. Had I have known a lot of these things now later on, and as I learn more about things that are out there for those of us
As
who
you get
serve our
older.
country, as we get older, that's Charles. Charles is all right. Either way, had I have known that a long time ago, I would have been doing all kinds of weird stuff. And if you have any questions, or if you want to know about stars, where you're at with the stars, representing your family member that's in the military or out of the military, uh, the website there is what, one more time?
ValorInstitute.org.
ValorInstitute.org. Or you can do what I do when I fact check, is I go to google.com and,
Yep.
and put a search on it, and guess what? It'll turn you into, AI right now has done a lot of stuff, because it even tells you, once you find a definition or the meaning of a certain thing, it asks you if you want to go even deeper through AI, and you push yes, and all of a sudden you get like a life story of a lot of stuff. So
Hmm.
it's amazing. It's amazing the information that's out there
Yeah.
and the stuff that you can get.
Although one of the bad things about AI is I've noticed lately with when they do have like military AI people,
Yeah.
you have some long hair sticking out from underneath the helmet. Now, when I was in it, I don't know if it's changed, and
As a
they're allowed
jarhead, I don't think that would have been permitted.
and they're allowed to have long hair underneath their helmets, but it's like, well, wait a second. First and foremost, that uniform is wrong,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things. My wife picks on me about it because I'll watch a military movie. And I'll go, his haircut's wrong.
Oh,
That
yeah.
uniform's
Well,
wrong.
that's what we do. My wife is the same way too. Oh my God. She goes, oh my God. You would notice something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I said, yeah, we probably noticed something like that. Yeah.
Something
Again,
else we talked about at the beginning that's in the description for today. Letters from home.
oh yeah, remember those, Charles?
I did. I wasn't married at the time,
Well, you didn't have to be
so
married.
so I didn't get letters like normal people got letters. Mine is fortunately for me. We had the youth group that I worked with when I was stationed out at Beale. Um, we had some military guys who would actually they would write some letters and they would bring them in. So I had personalized letters. We also while we were stationed over there or stuck over there or however you want to put it, while we were in country, um, got letters from uh, school children.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is it tells me my age when I've had people who are older now and have children, and I'm wearing a my Gulf War hat or my Desert Storm hat, and they went, "Oh, I wrote letters to you when I was in school,"
When I was
and
in
it's like,
elementary school.
yeah, and it's
Well,
like,
that's true.
it's
That's
like,
true.
okay,
And I don't know if it's still happening or not, especially those who are on active duty right now. I know that when we were out there in the middle of the desert, literally out in the middle of the desert, and we got mail call, and we got bundles and bundles of mail coming in from supporters from schools. You mentioned schools, elementary schools, high schools, people, and just people from nowhere would send us letters, and that would mean the world to us. It would take them a while to get to us because by the time they moved everything into the front lines or wherever you were at a certain point, it may have been the letters may have gotten there 3 or 4 months ago, but you're finally getting them, and you're like, hey,
yeah,
wow,
but
I got
well,
a bunch
that's
of letters.
because you guys were out in the desert. I
Well,
was,
yeah.
I was where the planes landed, so it
Yeah,
it got to us a
they were
a little bit.
carrying our mail,
Yeah, it's
delaying it by default, huh? But either way, I pulled out a couple of letters, and I'm not going to read them all, but I have a just to give you an idea. These are just a whole bunch of letters from home that we got back in the days. I mean, I'm talking. I don't know why I saved these things. I don't know why I kept them, but in some way, shape, or form, I just felt that maybe later on in my future life, I was going to be able to share something with you that was always deep in our hearts. And every service members that receive a letter from home, it's a welcoming thing, believe it or not. Especially if you happen to be one, and this is a sad thing, but it happens that are not receiving mail from your immediate family or whatever because maybe they don't have your address yet. Maybe they've moved to another place, or maybe it's taken them 3 months to get your mail, but yet you're still getting mail from other
hmm
folks and stuff. I pulled out a letter right here from Brandon. Uh, Brandon called me a soldier. Well, Brandon didn't know that I was not a soldier.
You're a Marine.
If he would have known that I was a Marine, he would have said, "Hey, Marine." But this is from Brandon. I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to tell you I don't know Brandon, but he lives in
He did.
Hillsboro, Indiana.
That was back in the day. He lived in Hillsboro,
Back in
Indiana.
the days, he
He's
lived in
he's he's
Hillsboro,
probably
Indiana.
married, has children. He might even have
Right,
grandchildren.
right,
Who
right.
knows?
But anyway, Brandon, thank you so much for me receiving your letter because it's been this letter. It's got a well, I don't have the actual package where it came from, but it did. I did pull other letters from that package, and they were dated 1991. So, Brandon, if you were 10 years old and in 1991 now, then you're old, dude. You're getting
Or
older. But
older.
here's your letter, Brandon, and I'll show it to you. See, I don't know if you can see it or not, but maybe you can see a little bit of it. That's Brandon's letter right there. Okay. So I'll read it to you in case you weren't able to see it. It says, Dear soldier, God will take care of you. Thank you for fighting for us. We are praying for you. Right back, soldier. Well, he wanted the soldier to write back. So he must have been talking about Mike over here on this side here.
Mike, yeah, Mike's
Yeah, he must have
Mike's
been talking
Army,
about.
so he was a soldier.
Yeah,
I'm an airman, so
yeah,
I was not considered a soldier. I'm considered an airman.
yeah. So these letters that I've kept over the years, and again, I didn't have to, and I just happened to be going through my stack of stuff, and I'm like, you know what, this is really something that might bring back some memories or something that might strike discussion amongst the family and family members, or you may even decide to want to go ahead and figure out how you can contact one of these units that are out there and maybe send someone the letter over there.
Hmm.
Get it together, write them a letter. You can send it to a unit, to an organization. The Marine Corps, for example, they have INI staff stations all over the place, and every little city town has a station. And Army, I'm sure does too. The recruiting office, you can go to the recruiting office and you can say, "Hey, I want to send a letter to someone that's overseas. How do I get their address?" You
Right.
know, and you don't have to address it to anyone specific. They address Brandon addressed this one to me. Well, not to me because it could have gone to anybody, and that's the way sometimes the letters came in. It would not really be. It just got the luck of the draw. Here's your stack, and there's your stack, and we used to get a lot, so we'd get 5 or 6 letters at one time. That was good. And the letters said a lot of stuff. It meant a lot of stuff to us because, we're in a far place, we're missing home already, and then we hear from someone from home. So that was a key thing. And I mean, that was a key. So if you're up to it, maybe sometime in the future, maybe you can start your own campaign and start writing letters if you haven't done so already. And if it's happening right now, kudos to those of you who are making it happen, because I will tell you personally that in some cases are a lifesaver, because sometimes you just want to hear something from somewhere else. And especially when you hear from people you don't even know. And Brandon, I don't know where you're at right now. I don't even know how old you are. I don't know if you're married and stuff, but God bless you and thank you for that letter, because it really touched my heart. And anything that you feel that you can do to help service members, to help veterans, you don't have to be a member of a big organization. There are a lot of organizations out there, but you can step out every now and again, and maybe one time a year do something, maybe do a community service, maybe volunteer for an event, and maybe just kind of put out there that you support,
Hmm.
that you support the cause and stuff. And now we know that we all have stars. We all have stars.
Yep.
Not only generals have stars, we're generals too, to some extent, and we all have stars as well too. And thank you very much for your time. I apologize for the technical interruption we had at the beginning. I know it may look a little flaky when we first start out, and
Yeah.
you
Late
couldn't hear it.
late start.
Yeah,
No volume.
yeah.
The battle was real.
I'm gonna have to reconsider the hiring of my co-host over here if he
Yeah.
doesn't get my computer together
Get
here.
some
Or
actual technical expertise.
yeah, there we go.
Um,
Yeah,
mine
you can
is
always use that, by the way.
mine is it's one of those things. I'm Air Force. We bomb you from 30,000 feet. So this whole ground stuff, I still have issues with.
Yeah. I was going to say that not too long ago, a day ago, which was June the 1st of many, many years ago, during the German War, when we invaded, the Marine Corps invaded Balalu, um, and the Germans they didn't know where the Marines were coming from. They didn't know what the heck was going on with the Marines. The Marines were so wild and crazy and doing all kinds of weird stuff. Even though that was a 26-day period that a lot of Marines were lost, we ended up getting the name out of the deal. Do you know what that name was, Charles?
Probably is it the Devil Dogs?
Devil Dogs.
Yeah,
The
that's
Germans named us Devil Dogs. So, anytime you hear that phrase, that's where it came from.
yeah. Well,
Battle of Hallelujah.
when you hear the term chair force, that comes from all the other military branches who are jealous of the fact that we can sit back and relax and bomb you from 30,000
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But what goes up must come down.
Yeah, and the fact that we show up and drop all those bombs gives you clearer paths to get in. And as you can see, we like to pick on each other, and that's part of that whole family thing, because we can, once you put on that uniform, what no matter what branch it is, except for maybe Space Force. I don't know how they pick on Space Force yet.
I'm still looking for
yeah.
someone in Space Force. So if any of you out there know someone, have them reach out to us.
That's right.
I'd like to
we
speak to him
want
or her.
we want to hear something about this Space
Yeah.
Force thing.
We
'Cause-
know there's only like about 10, maybe 11,000 Space Force members out there. I don't know if there's any. There might be a handful of veterans out there already. I would like to hear from you. If
Yep.
you know of a Space Force veteran out there, I really would like to hear. I would like to hear your story.
Yep.
So please reach out to us. You can always join us in one of these channels, that we do the 11 o'clock on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. That we can. There might be a couple of Tuesdays that we'll record the day before, but we'll still air it on time Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Well, hopefully on time.
Hopefully on time.
Today the computer had other thought processes. So
computer, Charles.
it was
human error.
It was the computer. Okay, yeah, it was human error because it had updates that needed to be done, and I figured it.
I guess it was the computer because it was my computer.
I figured that it would be done faster than it was done. So that's.
I think TMI here. All right, you guys. Thank you very much for
like, subscribe, and share.
Yep, and you guys have a great day, and God bless y'all.
Yeah, peace, love, and eat steak.